Okay, so today we're going to talk about evaluating numerical expression. So basically just how do we find the, quote, answer to an expression that has numbers in it. And when we are evaluating numeric expressions, we want to always follow the order of operations, which is like the social hierarchy of mathematics. Okay, so we don't always go from left to right. We want to do certain things before others. So to help us remember the order, I use Gemma. You might have heard of PEMDAS before, but PEMDAS sometimes leads to some misconceptions because the P stands for parentheses, but with Gemma, the first letter, the G, stands for grouping symbols, because there can be more than just parentheses as a grouping symbol, such as brackets, look like this. The absolute value symbol is a grouping symbol. Fraction bars are grouping symbols, along with parentheses, and many other things, like the square root symbol can be a grouping symbol. So there's many, many, many grouping symbols. There's more than just parentheses. So that's why I like to say G for grouping symbols instead of P for parentheses. The E stands for exponents. So after you do whatever is in the grouping symbols, you're going to work through the exponents, and we've talked about exponents. So if we have like 5 squared, we would do out 5 squared before we did anything else. Okay, then the M stands for multiplication and division. Okay, so in PEMDAS, the multiplication, the M and the D are separated out. And I don't like that because, as we know, there's really no such thing as division. And so we do the multiplication and division at the same time because they have the same importance. And we'll see that in an example in a moment here. And then the A stands for addition and subtraction. And much like division, subtraction does not exist. So we want to do the addition and subtraction at the same time from left to right because they have the same importance, because they are pretty much the same operation. Okay, and so we use this Gemma to help us remember the order. And one of the questions that I sometimes get is, okay, so we have these grouping symbols, but there's a whole lot of stuff happening within the grouping symbols. Well, you follow the order of operations in the grouping symbols as well. So let's do an example here. Make this a little smaller. So this is the example that's on your slideshow, but I'm going to walk through it on video for those of you who learn better video. So we have 12 divided by 2 minus 9 minus 3 in parentheses. And then 2 cubed is right on the outside, and that means multiplication. Okay, so to follow the order of operations, we're going to start by doing whatever is in the grouping symbols. So we're going to look and we're see, okay, we do have some grouping symbols. We have 9 minus 3. So right under that 9 minus 3, I'm going to say that that's equal to 6. And then I am going to copy everything down that I haven't used yet. Okay, so the only thing that changed from my expression up here is that 9 minus 3 is now equal to 6. We wrote down that 6. Okay, everything else is the same. I still have 12 divided by 2 minus 6 times 2 to the third. So you are not going to be able to do these without writing out the work. You must write the work out. So the next part of Gemma, since I don't have any more grouping symbols, is exponents. So I have 2 to the third right here. And so I'm going to figure out the 2 to the third. I'm going to write it out here. Make sure I know 2 to the third is equal to 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so that 2 to the third changes to an 8. And then I'm going to copy everything else exactly as it was in the line before. Okay, so now I don't have any more exponents, and so I'm going to move on to multiplication and division. And I'm going to start from left to right, and I'm going to work my way finding any division or multiplication. So if I work my way from left to right, I start at 12, and I see 12 divided by 2. Okay, well, that's a division. So I'm going to do 12 divided by 2, which is 6. And I'm going to copy everything else down. Now, I don't get to move on to the next part of Gemma yet because I still have a multiplication part of my numerical expression right here. And so I'm going to do this 6 times 8, which is 48. Now notice I ignored the 6 minus whatever because I haven't gotten to the end here yet. I haven't gotten to subtraction yet. Okay. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this subtraction. Now look at this. We got something that we're actually going to get a negative number here. And I know that we haven't talked too much about how to get to negative numbers when we're subtracting, but I think we can handle this. So if we start at 6 and we subtract 48, we are going to get negative 42 as our answer because we're going to go 42 more numbers into negatives than what we had in the positives. Okay, so we get negative 42. So that was our very last step, was that subtraction right there. Okay, and so that's how we do the order of operations. Now, it looks like a lot of work. There's a lot of steps, but that's what it's going to take in order to get these problems like this done. Okay, so the bottom line is, remember that you need to do Gemma. You need to start with grouping symbols, work your way to exponents, then go to multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. So you're going to try some of these examples in your notes, and then you're going to work on IXL if you finish up all of the notes ones. Please make sure that you put your work in by taking a picture. I will not accept a single answer. Okay? Good luck.